Yo, Kingdom, community vibes, community ties. Terrance Tucker is the brother who's connecting the tribe.
Boom, boom, boom. Yes, we're back to another episode of the community vibes, man. And this time around, y'all gonna be upset with me. Y'all gonna be mad at me because I got the legendary queen in the building. Queen of the South, man. Queen of the North. Queen of the West. Model extraordinaire, man. Host connoisseur. You know what I'm saying? Columbia legend out here in these streets. A partner in the crowd, man. Bianca Richardson is in the building. Give a round of applause.
Thank you.
What's going on? First of all, what part of the world are you in right now? Can you disclose that?
Well, luckily today, I'm in South Carolina.
Okay.
Today, I actually kind of took a little slight 3-day hiatus from traveling.
Okay.
I just lost my aunt.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
So we just buried her yesterday. So,
Oh man,
that's why I'm home. Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that. You know, my condolences to you and your family.
Thank you.
My condolences. So once again, thank you for coming on the show, man. We have been trying to lock this in for a long time. You know what I'm saying? But you travel the world so much, man. You in Vegas one day, you in Miami, man. You in South Africa the next day, you in Cuba the next day. We have no idea where's Waldo, like where's B gonna be at tomorrow. Then we don't know until you pop up, right, with those phenomenal pictures that you take, because you're one of the best models that's out right now. You know what I mean? In my opinion, probably the best.
Thank you. I appreciate
right?
it.
You know, but many people don't know, you know, they don't know you have a background. They don't know you have a story. And a lot of people, you know, may look at the pics or may look at the phenomenal things you do as far as hosting and stuff like that, but they don't know that you are a huge community leader, and you do so much for young women and young ladies, right? And so we want to get into that, but for those who have been living up under a rock, who may not know who you are, where you from?
Where I'm from?
Where you from?
I'm from the Maine, baby. You gotta say the Maine. Like you gotta say the Maine. You gotta say
the Maine.
The Maine, not Noma. You know it's now called Noma.
No,
I'm from the Maine. The Maine. D-A-M-A-I-N. The Maine.
The Maine
area, Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah, man, Columbia, South Carolina, stand up, man. Main Street, stand up. The Maine, stand up, man. What high school did you attend?
I actually ended up going to Dreher. I went to Dreher.
Dreher High School, Blue Devils, Crooks, stand up, Dreher Blue Devils, Crooks, SAT Crooks. Listen,
it is what it is.
How does, so many people get perfect scores coming from Dreher?
I mean, you know, I will say this. A lot of people might hate me for this. I enjoyed it, but I really struggled at Dreher. I really did, identity-wise. You know, I was too white to be black, but I was also too black to be white. So it was very difficult for me to fit in. Wow. And it was only because my family believed in having balance. I was cultured. My mother and my grandmother exposed me to a number of things growing up, whether if it was culture, things within the arts. So it was a little difficult sometimes, you know? Right. Very difficult. However, as far as the education, the quality of education, I had some great teachers, some not so great ones too, who were extremely racist, and there's still some that are there that are racist.
Facts.
However, I had some phenomenal teachers there who I still keep in contact with to this day.
So let me ask you a question.
Absolutely. Okay.
Coming from Dreher, coming from Main Street, well, the Maine, coming from the Maine.
Yeah. Look further down.
Did that 17-year-old see this woman right here?
You know, the one thing about me, at a very young age, I was always sure of myself. I was always sure of what I wanted to do, who I wanted to be. I was very sure of my purpose at a very young age. I can't say necessarily did I ever think I was going to have this path. No. I think that I've really, it has happened. It has actually. So I can say I've always been extremely sure of myself. I knew what I wanted to do. I always kind of figured out kind of like this pathway. So this is my goal, and how do I get to it?
Wow. So, you know, you do so much, and you travel so much. But you know, home is where the heart is.
Absolutely.
And you have a phenomenal relationship with your mother.
Oh, that's my girl. My mother.
Right. Tell me what she means to you.
So, you know, my mother, I mean, there aren't enough words in any dictionary to even describe, you know, any level of synonym, antonym, description, definition of who my mother and my grandmother is to me. You know, my grandmother taught me what the definition of love is, you know, like, how does it feel, how it's supposed to feel, what feels safe and what doesn't, which is the reason I'm not married. I always said that when I do decide, I know that the Bible says he who finds a wife, but
come on,
I can still do the choosing too now.
Come on.
Choose now. But in saying that, like, you know, I know that how I want to feel, and if I don't feel that level of safety that my grandmother gives me, you know, not for me. So I think my grandmother taught me the definition of love, what love feels like, what does it look like, what does it sound like. She taught me that. My mother taught me the definition of strength and tenacity. You know, like my mother, you know, we struggled, you know, because my mom and I have very similar personalities. Right. Highly strong.
Real alpha dog. Alpha.
We're both Capricorns. We're both alpha females. But the older I got, the one thing that I know, especially, and I'm pretty sure, and I'll go off the limb and say, especially African American parents, the one thing that they do is they sacrifice. They sacrifice so much. My mom showed her love through her sacrifice. Even though I knew there were times my mother wanted to break down and cry, she taught me kind of the definition. She graduated from state, by the way. But then, my mom's a bulldog. She's a bulldog. She graduated from state. And then she went and got her master's. My mom has 2 masters. You know, she did all raising me. So she taught me the definition of strength and faith. And that's a loyal woman, honey. That's a loyal woman.
Yes. Well, you know, we breed loyal people.
Whatever. I mean, I'm a Howardite, so, you know.
So leaving Dreher, you decide to go to the big city of Washington, D.C.
Yes.
Right. How did Howard change? First of all, why Howard? First of all.
So I wanted to go to, I applied to 3, I went to go to Juilliard, Harvard, Spelman, and Howard. Of course, I knew my track was going to be journalism. Some of those, you know, colleges do not have, you know, that discipline. My family also didn't believe things within the arts were a real career. They were like, you can just do this on the side. And I'm like, y'all know I did do this like for real in school. Like theater and was like my thing. So, you know, strategically, I said, you know, well, Howard, DC is only, went on Google. I was like 3 hours away. I was like, I can do this, you know? So from New York. So it was Howard. And there was a bunch of people just like me who were too white to be black, but also too black to be white, who love Shakespeare, but we love 2 Chainz too.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's balance. It's balance.
Right.
Howard, DC, listen, if you can survive in DC, you can survive anywhere.
That's what I tell everybody.
Listen, if you can survive in DC, you can survive anywhere. Survive and thrive. Both.
Come on now.
Survive.
Boom.
So yeah, went to Howard, thoroughly enjoyed it. I graduated high school, I'm telling my age.
Come on.
2006, and I was out of here July 2006. I was like, get out of here. I gotta go.
You gotta go, right?
I gotta go. Get me out of here. It's time to go.
So let me ask you this question right here. How did Howard change that 17-year-old leaving Dreher High School?
So, you know, in general, going from South Carolina, whose views are extremely conservative, and then going to DC where it's extremely liberal, I would have to say initially it was some sort of culture shock, you know,
Right.
Different dichotomies of life.
Right. Right.
Got to DC. Howard, the one thing that Howard did teach me, life lessons. Oh my gosh. I learned so many life lessons that I still apply to this day. So, yeah.
So what's one of those life lessons?
I would have to say your network is your net worth.
Wow.
I would have to say that. Like, I can't even or just knowing people, you know, having relationships, establishing relationships, maintaining relationships, valuing relationships. That I learned that so much from Howard.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone, call someone, get things done.
Right.
Just maintaining and having value of relationships and reciprocity as well within those relationships too.
Wow, reciprocity.
You know, like, you know, you're coming, it's a melting pot, you know, DC is a melting pot of cultures, you know, in general. And so when I got to Howard, you know, there were people from everywhere, you know, like we're from all different cultures, we're from different economic backgrounds. So I think the thing that carried for me the most is valuing sisterhood, like valuing friendship.
Right.
Like, I haven't had like the type of bonds that I established at Howard University. When I tell you, like, those love survival bonds in college were all together with each other.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
You learn so much about yourself.
Right.
So much about others. You learn what friendship is, what it feels like, what it looks like. And that has carried with me even to this day.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So leaving Howard University, one of the premier historical Black colleges there is within the world. Did you know that you wanted to be a model? Like just a
modeling at 17. So I've been modeling at 17. Got to DC. Remember I told you I did it strategically.
Right.
I don't remember how I found. Oh no, I was walking down Georgia Avenue, which is where Howard is in DC. Georgia Avenue. So I'm walking down Georgia Avenue. Walking down Georgia Avenue, this guy's like, you know, you should audition for DC Fashion Week. So mind you, I've never ridden a bus in my life. I don't have a license to drive. I can't ride a school bus. I mean, I can't ride a bicycle. I can't ride a bicycle to this day. I tried. Epic fail. So I'm like, how am I going to get there? Oh, well, you have to get on the train. So I auditioned for DC Fashion Week my freshman year. Director Ian Williams, who is like my fashion godfather to this day, he took me up under his wing. I did DC Fashion Week for, I think, about 2 seasons of DC Fashion Week. And then the next semester, my freshman year, second semester, I have a cousin that lives in New York. And so, like, true story. So I was just kind of getting acclimated and kind of spreading my wings outside of the confinements of just Howard University. Because I knew there was so much more. That's the other thing. If someone is in college, explore everything and things and places, businesses, cultures around your college. There's so much more the world has to offer besides just that, you know, the campus. Right. And so a cousin, there's a Chinatown bus that goes from Chinatown in DC to Chinatown in New York. It stinks. It smells horrible. The driver doesn't speak any English. It's an experience, you know? Right. I could afford. It was what I could afford there. So,
you know what I mean? Fake it till you make it.
So my mother works at Benedict, by the way. My mother works at a
BC.
You know. So I'm a BC baby too, though. So I'm a Benedict baby. Listen.
Benedict all day.
Being around being around a collegiate environment, since the age of 10, I was in the 3rd grade. Like being there really prepared me for Howard University, you know?
Oh, wow.
I'll be honest with you. So anyway. Wow.
How is that?
I think.
Not to get you off track or anything, but.
The decorum, I would watch my mother, how she interacted with the students, how helpful she was, or just in the classrooms. Like, you know, like coming from, you know, junior high school, and then going into a collegiate classroom, it's a little different.
That's facts. That's facts.
Classes that I would sit into because there's a large amount of people. There's no babysitting.
Right.
You know,
None.
you get your work done or you
Right.
don't. You know, you
Exactly.
don't do it, you
Exactly.
get done. It's an F.
Exactly.
So, and then also just the entire collegiate experience, you know, staying on campus, eating, you know, minding your business.
Most definitely.
I would say Benedict. Going back, okay, so second semester,
Yeah.
my cousin, so I knew I wanted to get signed. Second semester freshman year. So I figured out, you know, I kind of well, this takes me to New York. Oh, I'm gonna get on here. Woo, little Southern girl, I have no idea where I'm going. What I'm doing, but I'm
Southern Belle.
right?
Yeah.
So I get on this Chinatown bus. My cousin, I stay with my cousin, and I love her so much for that. She really took me up under her wing in New York. And my mom, so on top of her working at Benedict, she used to send me like $50, $60, right? A week.
That's big money back then, though.
Well, not in DC. You gotta get on the train. You know, like campus food ain't all that good.
No, it's not.
It's not. I mean, you
It's
can
not.
for hundreds, thousands of people. It's not gonna be that
Come on.
good, right?
Right.
So, anyway, mind you, it's $20 to get there. It was $20 to get back, right?
Right.
Now
Right.
I got $10 that I'm working with to eat off of when I got to New York. Now my cousin got a little bit. But for the most part, I had ramen noodles and I bought gallons of water. Reasons I
Gangster life.
You can't pay me to touch ramen noodles for a long time.
Gangster life.
The smell of it, the nostalgia, it sparks.
That's gangster life.
But listen, so
Savage.
down this bus, I went to like 4 different agencies that day. No,
Uh-huh.
agencies within like a 3-day period.
Right.
And mind you, I was like going through the gate on the train.
Yeah.
Oh well. How you get it, right? So I was literally just going through the gate. Out of those, it was 6 agencies. Out of those 6, 4 actually called me back, and I got signed. So then by the summer, I was a sign model. I was but I went back and forth about 3 weeks to those agencies, back and forth,
Right.
with my $50 budget. Okay.
Wow.
$50 budget, my ramen noodles, and my gallons of water. And then that's how I put myself in college.
So how did you feel when you got signed?
Oh, I was elated, and I immediately work. So by like my sophomore year, I went to on Thursdays, from like 7:45 a.m. to like it's like 5 o'clock at night, and then so Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I was able to go to New York and work. Yeah. Wednesdays was like my study days because it was no for me to go there because I had to come right back to the class. But so I would go there and work and come right back. But I was able to put myself through college. After that, I think after my sophomore year, I moved off of campus. You know, you get a little famous after, so you're not staying on campus. So I had 3 roommates. No, I had 2 roommates. We had a 3-bedroom apartment right across from Catholic University. And then after that, I moved on my own. I've been on my own. Like after my sophomore year, I got my own place.
Ever since.
Started riding the Amtrak. Started riding the train back and forth. No more Chinatown bus.
No more Chinatown's a wrap.
But if I still had to do it, I still would. I still have that same level of hunger that I had then at that age. I would still do it again.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
That's
so
it didn't pop off. So after that.
Wow. So, you travel the world.
Grateful.
You have done so much. You've seen so much. You've experienced so much. When did you realize that you wanted to give back to your community? Because there are so many young women who may have your story, but they don't know that you exist, right?
Right.
But you give back to your community. You definitely help out those little brown girls, man. Why is that? So,
true story. When I was in DC, when I first started Love Yourself, it was initially a consulting agency initially.
Right.
And what I did, I worked with another organization that helped young girls who were aging out of the foster care system.
Right.
That's initially what I was doing. 2012, my brother was murdered. I'd already graduated from college and I was still living in DC. And, and I hate to say this, and I think as a culture, we're like this. We don't really agree.
Right.
We don't know what grief is sometimes, or what does that look like? How does it feel? The process of grieving, and grieving can last for years. So my grandmother called me and she goes, "Baby, I think it's time for you to come home." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And I mean, little did she know, I had by this time I had been prescribed every antidepressant, anxiety medicine, because I really my brother was my best friend, and to have someone just taken away from you, within the blink of an eye, it totally changes your perspective on life. It really shifts your entire paradigm completely. So, I made an emotional decision. I'm a Capricorn to my core. We act off of impulse often. And so I made a drastic decision, and I came home within a week or whatever. And so I was booked a lot for speaking engagements. And, would meet these little girls, they were so just mesmerized by the modeling portion, of my life, the superficiality of my life, or, how it looks on the surface. And so I was invited to speak somewhere I'm from Prescott Manor. That's where I grew up at, Prescott Manor. And I was invited to speak there, and I was like, whoa, I can't leave these girls, I can't leave them. And I told myself, I would never want to be a person, because people did this to us growing up. I would never want to be the type of person that takes the Band-Aids off of these kids' wounds and then you leave them out to bleed to death. Why would you do that to them? I don't want programs that we graduate from, because as a culture, as women, as people, we're constantly evolving. Evolution and healing, that's my child. It's very cyclical, So that's what made me start my nonprofit. It made me want to, have something that's more permanent and as a staple in the community.
Wow. Now, strikingly beautiful woman, right?
Yeah. Beauty.
You have no problem. You have so many friends. Much like we said, you travel the world.
I have acquaintances and associates.
There you go.
Compartmentalized people. Everybody is not my friend. Okay.
That's true. With affiliates. And my question is this, right? You get all those compliments, man. You take some phenomenal pictures. Yet, me knowing you, you still find ways to remain humble. How is that?
Because you know what? My mother and my grandmother have always taught me the same people you meet coming up, you meet them coming down too.
Right.
Because God has blessed you. Oh my God. Easily take those things away.
Right.
And I'm a strong believer, kind of with the energy, the effort, the spirit that you put out into the universe is going to return it back to you.
Right.
And we're just remembering humble beginnings of where I came from. Right. We didn't grow up. I didn't grow up. I can't say I grew up necessarily poor or any, or necessarily done without. But what I did see my mother do without. What I did see was generational issues. What I did see was, having a father who struggled with addiction. What I did see was emotional issues that were never addressed, in the family. And so that keeps me humble. And knowing that I'm no different from anybody. I'm no different from those little girls right now in Prescott Manor. I'm no different from anyone. That's why people are like, well, why do you go here? Or you might go eat here. I'm like, yo, I enjoy going there actually. It keeps you
we know that.
I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to do this serious stuff all the time.
Right.
Humble, just remembering where you come from. Remembering and remembering and not only just remembering it, appreciating it, and cherishing it. I cherish everything that I've been through in my life, because everything I've been through in my life has affected me. It has elevated me. And I'm a strong believer that your past is connected to your future. I totally agree, because all the things that I've learned, good and bad, all the things that I'm constantly even learning to this day, good and bad. You know, I often tell the girls, like, you know, if I don't know someone that has been through it, like, I've been through it myself. So humble, you know, just remembering your past. Like, I've come a long way.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. So, you know that we're in this this crazy, you know, with this election, right?
God.
And you know, not to even get into that, but you know, what I want to talk about is you know, you're this host connoisseur in my eyes. Like, you are the queen of hosts, right? The queen of hosts. You had a chance to kind of get into the whole political, you know, little life. When now, what's the gentleman who?
Oh, Steyer. I was national surrogate for Tom Steyer.
Tom Steyer, yeah, that's his name.
My guy.
That guy, the doggone gazillionaire, right? What was that feeling like right there? You know, what was that experience like for you?
So let me start here. You know, I always say this. People are like, well, how did you? That's kind of polar opposite of everything that you do. I mean, I think it's a form of advocacy. Everything that I've kind of set out to do, I've never really planned for it. You know, like I never planned to have a nonprofit.
Right.
I didn't write this elaborate business plan for it.
Right.
I've literally just kind of gone with the flow and listened to what, you know, the like spirit, my ancestors, what God is. That's how I I believe that everything that I need to succeed and for those things to thrive, it's going to be provided to me, and it has. So with Steyer, so my nonprofit, we're a coalition partner for Planned Parenthood, and there was a time that Trump was trying to cut funding for community programs, female reproductive programs. Like, it was a number of programs, but the bulk of the programs, the funding would have affected urban communities, primarily African. And so Tucker had an entire campaign. It was called Need to Impeach. Of course, it was impeaching Donald Trump. And so invited to this luncheon here. It was in Columbia. I want to say it's maybe 3 years ago. And I was just invited just as a community leader, just as someone who absolutely despises Trump, but also who just wanted to hear about this campaign, this Need to Impeach campaign. And by the way, Steyer spent his own personal money. You know, I was like, well, someone can really spend their own personal money on a campaign to expose somebody. Let me go hear what this man has to say. This is his personal. Let's go. Right? Yeah. So that's how I met the Steyer family. And this was way before his announcing, him running for that particular office. I was asked to speak on a panel. It was a ladies first. It was MC like myself, and 3 other ladies that were on that panel. And literally his wife walked up to me, and their senior advisor, who I'm very close to this day, said, "Young lady, you've earned a different place in this campaign." And I was just literally asked just to endorse them. And I was asked to endorse 3 of the presidential people that were running, presidential candidates. Wow. And so I literally did my research on everybody. Not only my research on their platform, but their consistency and what was their platform even prior to this candidacy. Right. You know, oftentimes when people are seeking a seat, they'll try to attach themselves to issues. Right. You know, you're like, well, since when did you start caring about Black people? Right. Good. Since when you start caring about environmental injustice? You know, since when? You mean to tell me? Oh, I get it. Now, you want my vote, but
there you go.
You haven't been interested in this before. You wanted to be the president of the United States, but I couldn't say that about Steyer. I could not say that. He and his entire family. And so that's why I chose to endorse him, and so I spoke on that.
I'm not sure what happened. I think you froze. Hold on. Froze Ash? Hold on.
Yeah, she's frozen.
I don't know what happened. Okay. Stuck for a while.
Yeah, I don't know. You just froze on us.
Huh?
Your phone your phone froze on us.
Really?
Yeah.
You were frozen on mine. I was like, oh, okay, I'm moving. But,
okay.
Anyway.
So you were at where you chose to go with Terrance Tucker.
The Sire campaign. Okay,
yeah.
So where was I? Oh, so yeah, that's what happened. I spoke on that panel, and then literally it was, hey, young lady, you earned a place on this campaign. We'll figure it out later. We did a phone conference.
You traveled the world, right?
Literally, I traveled. It was sometimes 2 and 3 different states a week with that campaign. But it worked out because I was still traveling for modeling. So oftentimes, if I was booked in New York, they'll say, hey, well, can you shoot over to Boston or can you shoot over to New Hampshire?
Right.
So it really worked out. It was a great experience.
That's awesome.
And I was happy to do it. I was excited to do it because I never felt like I was being a token Black girl.
Right.
So I enjoyed the experience.
So let me ask you this. What's one glaring, let's say, experience, that taught you a lesson going through that process?
Let me see. What lesson did I learn? I will say this. I wouldn't necessarily call it a lesson, but I would definitely say this is something that will follow, that will follow me throughout whatever other endeavor and things I decide to do throughout my life. Continue to read, especially if it's things within the political arena, trends like politics, trends, they change daily, hourly. I can't tell you how many times that I would get questions asked during events, or because oftentimes I was traveling, speaking on policy, speaking on platform, and why was I, endorsing this candidate, and how does this relate to people who look like me, or, people and issues and concerns of mine, things that I'm passionate about, and how those things were cohesive. So I would have to say is to continue to read and stay updated. Like, that is the most important thing. Like, I would ask questions, and thank God that I had just read an article on the flight right before I landed. Like, I'm so glad I read this, It's to really just stay educated, stay updated on everything. And it doesn't necessarily have to be politics. It could be, if you're in the medical field, it could be fashion, anything in media. I would have to say, just stay up to date and read, educate yourself.
Let me ask you a question.
Yep.
We know you like to cook.
Mm-hmm.
For those who don't know,
yes,
this young lady loves to cook, man. She's a cook, a chef, whatever you want to call it. But you decided to put it in a book.
Yes.
Right? You became an author. Now let's talk about that. First of all, why the book?
So, I'll be honest with you. A lot of my friends can't cook. A lot of my girlfriends can't cook. And for me, I'm like, this is like a no-brainer for me, and all of the recipes are super, super, super simple. Food for me is therapeutic. Food is one of the few things that touches all of your senses. All of them. Every single one. And so food is therapeutic. Food is spiritual. Like, think about it. Like, food makes you feel good. Sometimes people, when they're in, a bad mood, they find comfort food, or they don't eat at all. Food is spiritual. And I put it in a book, and that's just sharing. I didn't give all of my secrets now, but just my basics. They're super easy. It's not like you're gonna have to get 7 pots or anything like that, but it's super easy, especially if you're busy. Yeah.
So, for the listeners, what's the name of the book?
It's Who Said Models Don't Eat and Cook? The Stylish Taste Buds. People don't think we eat now. Like, well, granted, I can't eat now, and this, whew, I'm
just a little bit
pounds heavier, but
not bad weight though. It looks good on you. But where can they go purchase the book?
Go to my website. It's thebiancacharday.com. and then you can click on the Stylist Taste button. You can order there. You can also order aprons. One of my favorite aprons has food, fashion, and philanthropy, because those are my 3 favorite things. Food, fashion, and philanthropy. There's a couple other aprons there as well. And I'm going to put a digital copy up on my website. You can just purchase it. And then it'll be readily available online. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, getting back to the, model side of things, my question is this. Who selects your backgrounds and stuff like that, man? Like, because you be all over the place, man, just doing, it's so creative. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it you, or do you have somebody that picks that stuff out?
You show up. That's what models do. You show up and
boom,
do your job and go home.
Go home.
That's how it goes. Yeah.
Simple. So if you can talk to that young lady that was at Dreher High School when she was 17, like about to head to Howard, man. If you can talk to her from where you are right now, from the position you're in right now. She has no idea where she's going, right? She just knows that she's going to Howard. What would you tell that young lady?
I would tell her, one, and I say this as someone who's done this multiple times, I would have to say, one, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. I believe that.
Wow.
Wholeheartedly. If your dreams don't scare you, they're just not big enough.
Right.
One, to never give up, and never accept behaviors, people, friendships that don't value you. Like, you and I think we do this often, because especially if you're an empath or you always want to see the good in people, because that's me, God forbid. But everyone is not your assignment. Everything is not your assignment. Some things are just meant to be acquaintance and keep it moving. Everything is not meant to have an emotional investment. And so, and that's me. But that just comes from having attachment. We got attachment issues, all types of things. But I would have to say, never accept anything that's less your worth, ever. Anything, friendships, relationships, jobs, anything. If it's not, if it's less than your worth, it's not for you. Ever.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
What I would tell her.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So before we wrap up, I just want to, say thank you so much for being a special guest. We go back. We go back. And we as the community are so proud of you. We're always following you and loving your pictures, loving your journey. We're living vicariously through you, right? But going forward, man, what can we expect from you? What's next for you?
So I just signed to an agency in Atlanta. Acting is my next step.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Acting is my next step. Modeling will always be, my bread and butter.
Right.
Acting is my next step. I'm working more in advocacy, like heavy national advocacy, which I'm really excited about. Right. I'll never give up that. I know that's my purpose. Fashion just happens to be my vehicle. So I have modeling, of course. I'm in acting. I just signed to an agency in Atlanta. I'm signing to another agency in Miami. And I think I still have my book. I have my media firm. I have my nonprofit. I'm the lifestyle editor for Monarch Magazine. It's a DC-based magazine, lifestyle magazine. And then I'm the VP of Lifestyle for Black Culture Weekly. So yes, I have that. So more journalism, more articles. Let's, I'm gonna go ahead and claim it, because I said, what's funny? When I was 16, I said, I would watch Top Model with my grandmother. I'm like, I'm gonna do that show one day, Nene.
Yeah. But you are a Top Model.
But I ended up doing it. Then, Regina Skeeters, right? You know Regina, right?
Yeah.
Regina, she had a CD. So Regina went to Benedict, and of course I was always at Benedict. And Regina had a CD, and she wrote on the CD. It was one of her gospel CDs. I think I had to be like maybe 13. And she wrote on the CD, "God bless you and keep going, my top model." She wrote that. I was 13 years old. And then crazy years later, I ended up actually doing the show. So I think, speaking it into the universe, I'll go ahead and speak this when I win my first Oscar. Yeah, that's what you can look forward to. Seeing me on somebody's screen in the next year, which is, I'm filming right now. But next year, yeah, that's what you can.
Don't forget about the little people, man.
No, we all the same. We all the same. Our journey's just different, but we're all
right. That's it. That's it. Well, we appreciate you, and we can't let you go without asking you the magic question, man. Since you a foodie and you love to cook, right? You love food. We all love food.
Absolutely.
Okay. I got a question for you.
I got
you ready?
I'm listening.
All right.
I got an answer.
Now, this is the most important question out.
Get to it now.
Okay. When it comes to chicken wings, do you prefer the flats or drums?
All flats, fried crispy. Yes.
Everybody in this smoothie shop just said.
All flats, crispy.
Why?
It gotta be crispy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just something about the flats. It's like the meat is like more tender or something. Like I don't know. It's like the meat is more tender. I don't know what it is. Just flats are just 10 times better. This is what it is.
You still my G, man. You still my G. Listen, man, Drum Nation, stand up, man. We all about the drums. Okay? Well, we are so, so thankful, man, for your appearance. We're cheering for you. We're definitely praying for you. Please be careful out there. We know it's a lot going on out there, and you're a precious cargo to us. So make sure that you take care of yourself, okay?
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
No problem, man. We'll be in contact, man. So listen, y'all, make sure that you go cop that book. Cop that book, man. Please go cop that book. Make sure you follow her. For those who can't, for those who, let's say, may not be following you right now, how can they follow you?
So I'm on Instagram, Facebook at Bianca Charday, and that's my website as well, thebiancacharday.com.
All right. Well, boom. There has it, man. There is another impactful episode of the Community Vibes with the queen herself, man. The queen of the South, model extraordinaire, author, host connoisseur, whatever you want to call her. She's a giant, okay? Miss Bianca Richardson here. Thank you so much, B. I'll take care now, okay?
Thank you for having me.
No problem.
Yo, Kingdom, community vibes, community ties. Terrance Tucker is the brother who's connecting the tribe. You say you want shine, come get your shine on. You say you want vibes, come get your vibe on. Community vibes, community ties. Terrance Tucker is the brother who's connecting the tribe. Hey, you say you want shine, we'll get your shine on. You say you want vibes, we'll get your vibe on.